Okay, it's the 8th of April. It's been almost a month, more than a month, since the last video. And today, most of what we're going to watch is pouring the foundation. But it's worth reflecting, since this is a bit of a scrapbook, that we've lost 2 weeks at the middle of March, while the whole world went through the first wave of the COVID-19 virus. So our builder shut down for a week and decided maybe they could find ways to work safely, healthily, but couldn't quite get organized the second week. So we lost 2 weeks. They've been back with a small crew since then, and finishing the lower slope that we're looking at now, adding the observation ports at each end of the septic field, tidying up, as you see Curtis here moving logs out of the way, finished the final, well, the semi-final sort of sloping and grading of the pathway, and since then Deb and I have been working on our own to sort of put the landscaping back in place. These are some logs from that big maple tree that you saw come down in an earlier video. We're going to have these milled into lumber, and we're not sure what we're going to do with it yet. Either build a table for the front entryway or maybe find some place in the house to incorporate it. The idea is to make use of the tree in the house somehow as part of the story. There you start to get an idea of the landscaping that Deb and I have started. It's sort of terraced at the bottom there, over top of the septic tanks. Okay, up top you see footings in place and the forming for the foundation walls starting to go in. What you're looking at was the outside of the foundation forms. You can see the rebar tied in a grid pattern that'll end up inside the wall, and then later on in the video you'll see the inside wall of the forms come together. Those footings in the back there are for holding up the cantilevered living room and the deck. It's probably the end of March in this video, maybe very early April, first few days of April. Now you're seeing the inside walls. No, you're not. I take it back. That's still the same. You see the rebar. It'll end up in the middle of the wall. There you see the cistern forming, coming together. This is essentially the basement to the garage. So the top of that is the floor of the garage. And this is today, April 8th. Pump trucks on site. Crew of about 8 guys are also on site. This is early in the morning. There, the concrete truck has just showed up. And Drew is starting to pour the concrete into the forms. They broke the team up into 5 basic teams. There's the 2 guys on the concrete truck and the pump truck. And you'll see the guy controlling the arm of the pump truck with a remote control unit. You'll see it in some shots. They've got Drew, who's manning the hose and placing the concrete. They've got 2 teams that are following along behind Drew with a vibrator to make sure that the concrete spreads itself uniformly through the form and doesn't leave pockets and gaps in the concrete. You see that's like a long pole that they plunge down into the concrete, and it basically vibrates. And then they have a finishing team of guys with trowels that are following along and making sure that the concrete is smoothed off at the appropriate elevation. Lots of reflection going on about how in the olden days this would have been so much more work before pump trucks were invented. See the scaffolding inside that the guys will stand on as they're finishing the concrete. So the forward plan from here is to strip the forms, start stripping the forms tomorrow, after which they'll start to work on the drainage piping that goes around the outside of the foundation down at the footing level. We'll start to damp proof the house foundation and the cistern foundation, so paint it with bitumen. Then they'll backfill or partially backfill for sure around the outside, and very soon after that we will be into the construction with wood framing. That'll be exciting. So strip the forms, damp proofing they call it, and drainage piping, also our rainwater harvesting piping, backfill, and onto framing. The pour today was 33 cubic meters of concrete, 3 full trucks and 1 partial truck. That's Brad with the vibrator. So if you look closely, you'll see it's all sort of lumpy, and then he plunges that in, it vibrates and jiggles it around, and it sort of settles and makes sure there's no pockets and gaps in the concrete. And there you see the finishing guy with the orange gloves. These are just short load-bearing walls inside the house that Drew's pouring there. There you get a current view of what the slope is looking like through the tarp over the edges, just to keep it from washing away if it rained a lot. And then we've moved a few plants down from up top that we had previously. The weather's been very nice the last few days, and supposedly will be nice for another week, sort of plus 10 to 12 and sunny. So huge milestone accomplished today. It all went well. Thanks to the guys. Excited to move on to the next step. It won't be long now, and we'll be looking at a framing going up. Until next time, bye.